Alright, so somebody asked the question, how do they make something invisible in their game? The first thing I want to say when I answer this question is there's really two ways to go about it, but you have to decide whether you want that to be invisible but still have effect on the world, or invisible and like non-existent kind of. To show you what I mean here, I've made these two walls here. And the first one will turn invisible and allow me to pass through it because its physics get turned off. And then this one is going to turn invisible, but it's still there. Okay, so I'll just run this and show you. And I made short scripts to change their visibility with use. So when I come in, I just have this blank looking wall. If I walk up to it and use it, it's going to disappear. But because I used the entity hide, and I'll explain that in a minute, it has no physics. You saw the use icon go away. I can walk right through it. Whereas this wall, I use the invisible material on it. So when I walk up to it and use it, it's visible, or it's invisible, but I could still use it and I can't walk through it. And then I can make it visible again. And still can't walk through it. Alright, so the first method is you have to use scripting to do it. And, or actually you can do it hidden. You can check the hidden box. But then if you do that, it's hidden and I can walk straight through it. Whereas if you use the material, right now it doesn't have the material because I add it through script. But this invisible material that you can't, it'll still have physics and such. So let's go through how this works. Alright, so let's just make a new CSG box right here. Alright, let's make it a little shorter. Let's see. Now I should be able to step up on, no. Let's make it a little shorter yet. See, it's short enough I can step up on it and down off of it. If I then go into Appearance and select a material, I can go to Effects and click Invisible, and that gives it the invisible material. Another way to do that is if, whoops, too much Blender. Another way to change materials is if you go into your materials folder, you can actually like, it has to be a material, not a texture. So, like, I can drag and drop materials onto it. You can also go to Effects, Invisible, and drag that onto it. Now that it's invisible, it's still there though. See how I stepped up onto it, stepped down off? Because it's still actually there. Now, there's some stuff there, like if I want it to be invisible, for right now you know how to make it invisible, so what I'm going to do is put glass texture on it so that it's transparent so we can actually see it for a little bit of demonstration stuff. I'm also going to make it a little bigger. Alright, so it's now way too big to step up onto and we collide with it. Now if you want it to be invisible, like a show or hide, but you still want to do stuff with it, another way you can handle this is you can make it invisible. Like I said, I'm using glass. And in here, you can go to Physics, and you could change its physics type. Debris is really good. debris physics only collide with stuff that has scene or prop physics to it. So when I run it now, it's still actually there, but I can go right through it. Let's show you an example of how that all works. Let's do it this way. Okay, so I've got, make a quick box here with walls. Alright, so what I've done is I made this little, like, hole in the ground bed. Come on. And then let's move that right up against there. Alright, and that didn't move. Alright. Let's make that bigger so that just in case the corners don't hold. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a sphere in there. CSG sphere. Now, when you use spheres to make them roll right, the best way to go about it is to make sure that whenever you make them, they're like perfectly circle. So 96, 96, 96, 96, 96, 96. Okay. And then let's play with its physics a little bit. It's a rigid body. It's a sphere, fit shape, and it didn't work. Great. Well, actually it did work. It just doesn't look like it. Well, no, it didn't. Okay. That'll do it. Alright. So now it's got physics to it. And then let's make it debris, because I wanted to show you that. And I'm going to take nav obstacle off just so that it doesn't mess with your nav mesh if you generate a nav mesh. Because it is a moving object. Wherever it was in the nav mesh scene, it'll make a void there where nobody can walk. And that can generate some problems. So always make sure it's not a nav obstacle when you place it in your scene if you're doing your nav mesh before. Okay, now I got this cool little script I'm going to have to go grab real quick that's going to make this ball randomly bounce around this hole. Alright, let's just do this. Scene sphere 1 script. Scripts. Or projects. Scripts, objects, physics. Okay. So now it's got that. Now let's run this. I didn't give it mass. Whenever you're messing with physics, you always got to give the object mass, or else it won't react. And something's wrong there. It should be working. Did I do something wrong? Let's try this. Maybe its physics shape is messed up and we just didn't see it. Alright. Triangle, sphere, rigid body. You don't want to change this to character controller unless it's like the monster AI or the FPS player AI. Debris. Well, it falls. You can use it and play with it. Well, I guess that gives you the idea of what I'm trying to get at. See, it'll bounce and it'll roll around, but I can walk through it because it collides with the scene objects. I wonder why that ball isn't rolling. It's bothering me. Force. Well, I'll work on that later. But, so that is a basic tutorial on how to make things invisible in your world. If you have any questions or want to see anything else, let me know.